So please welcome Simon Tam, founder of Slants. So how did the band first, I know it's gone through different permutations, but tell us how the Slants got started in 2006.
I first got started when I got an idea of wanting to start an Asian American band, or a band that would actually represent Asian American culture.
Okay.
Because if you think back to 2006 and what our country was like at the time, we had over 17 million Asian Americans. And if you ask anybody to name a single Asian American artist, they probably would not be able to do so.
Yeah.
They couldn't think of anyone that would be on the cover of Rolling Stone, the Billboard charts, or anything like that. Right. And so I wanted to start a project that would celebrate our culture and kind of represent it. And that's when the idea for the Slants was kind of born.
And you know, what give us the reasoning for the name, the Slants, which obviously many would say could be an insulting reference.
Sure.
To
So
Asians. Yeah.
I started asking my friends. I said, hey, what's something you think all Asians have in common?
Right.
And they would respond by saying, slanted eyes.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know, slanted eyes, it's really interesting because number one, it's not true. Asians are not the only people with slanted eyes, and not all Asians have slanted eyes. But then I started thinking how we could talk about our own slant on life, and what it's like to be in this country as people of color, as Asians, while paying homage to Asian American activists who've been using this term in a kind of reappropriated, self-empowering way for about 20, 30 years already. And perhaps most importantly for a band, it just sounds cool. It sounds like Debbie Harry could front this band.
Right. And as you said, the word slant, it doesn't maybe have the power it once did. Is that, or did it?
It's not inherently offensive.
Yeah.
I mean, even, you know, we've worked with linguistics experts on this, and even during the height of its use in the 30s and 40s,
right, it
was kind of not really the preferred term to use to be racist towards Asian people.
Right, right.
And most of the time people won't say slants, they say slanted eyes, or slant eye for short.
Right.
So we thought it was just a really cool way of doing it. And we were kind of following in the line of a lot of other people. There was, at the time, Slant TV, one of the biggest Asian American film festivals, the Slant Film Festival in Houston, Texas was around. And all these people had been using it in this really cool way, kind of this edgy, bold betrayal of our culture. So we wanted to kind of participate in that.
Right, right.
So I said, you know, we've been touring for many years now, all across the country, doing Asian American festivals and anti-racism workshops. Who did they find who was offended? I mean, if there's so many people offended by it, who did they find? He said, well, nobody. But they did quote UrbanDictionary.com, and they had a photo of Miley Cyrus pulling her eyes back in this slant eye gesture. And I thought, you gotta be kidding me. Yeah. He says, no, I'm looking at Miley Cyrus right now. It's pretty offensive. I was like, yes, I know the photo. And so we thought that they were just wrong, that they just misunderstood it. Right. And so we fought back using thousands and thousands of pages of evidence. We had community leaders, including incarceration camp survivors, write in letters of support. 2 independent national surveys that showed 92 to 98% of Asian Americans supported our use of the name in a self-empowering kind of way. Dictionary experts, like the New American Oxford Dictionary's editorial board, writing a huge report showing how our name is actually not offensive. Trademark Office said no. They disregarded all that information. They said no. Wikipedia says it's a racial slur.
So Urban Dictionary and Wikipedia.
Yeah. And finally, we said, hold on a second. You registered Slant dozens and dozens of times before. What makes this band different? Why did you reject this case, but none of the other ones? Because my case is actually the only one in all of U.S. history to be denied a registration on the basis of being offensive to Asian people. And they wrote, it is incontestable that the applicant is of Asian descent and part of an Asian band. And to prove how Asian we were, they said, you got pictures of Asian people all over your website, which is, of course, yeah, that's pictures of me, my band. And they're like, you have dragons and rising suns and things. I was like, yes, artwork from our respective cultural heritages. But in the end, they said we are too Asian to use it. Because they said as long as people go to the website and see Asian people and they see the words, the slants, they're going to automatically think a racial slur instead of any other definition. Which is really a convoluted way of saying anyone can register a band called the Slants as long as they're not Asian.
So tell us the status of the case now.
Being there in that room it's like nothing else. I mean, First of all, I thought it was going to be a lot bigger.
Right.
It has really tall ceilings, but the room itself is kind of small. But it's also intimidating and really, honestly, really detached. For an hour, the attorneys and the justices were all using my name, and using my band's name, and talking about us, but it didn't feel like they were actually talking about me. That they had no idea who I was at that point. Say, no, this is what our band's actually about.
Yeah.
Because while the Solicitor General, who's kind of the highest ranking attorney, he runs the Department of Justice, was saying how we believe, and the government believes, that Slants is racist and that it's racially offensive to Asian Americans. I wanted to say, hold on a second. A month before we got here to the Supreme Court, the White House emailed me saying that we are champions of the Asian American community, asking us to join an album with Barack and Michelle Obama. I'm like, if we're so offensive to our own people, why would the White House invite us to do this? Ironically, the song that we used on that album was a song called From the Heart, which is like an open letter to the Trademark Office. You know, just being in that courtroom, I wish I could explain all those things. I wish I could explain how I traveled to over 34 US states to talk to 145 social justice groups to make sure that our case was in line with the needs and wants of our community. I wish they could see the thousands and thousands of pages of the many Asian Americans who felt like the government had wronged them and that we were standing up for our community's rights. But unfortunately, I had to sit and kind of watch it unfold. And now, we're playing the waiting game. Don't believe the government brief, because the government actually says I'm the lead singer in their legal brief, but I was like, it just shows how incompetent they are on the law that they can't even use Google right. Even Wikipedia says he's the lead singer.
Sorry if my note's too sharp. Sorry if my voice is too raw. Don't make the pen a weapon, censor our intelligence until I thought with nothing at all. Sorry if you take offense. You made up rules and they pretend. We know you fear change, something so strange, but nothing's gonna get in our way. There's no room for your backwards feelings or backyard feelings. We're never gonna settle, never gonna settle. No, we won't remain silent. No, try to find home. We sing from the heart. We sing from the heart. And no, we won't be going crazy. No, it's a rock and roll nation. We sing from the heart. We sing from the heart. Good job, everybody. Sorry if we tried too hard to take some power back for ours. Language of oppression, lose to education until the words can hurt us again. Sorry if you take offense, but silence will not make amends. The systems are wrong, it won't be long before the kids are singing our song.